accommodation for
Disgusting.
families,
Why
offering
do people do
beachfront
that?
picnic areas, a pavilion, playground, and a bathhouse. Large-scale illegal dumping involving mattresses, sofas, tires, and other bulky items has recently occurred near the pond. Environmental police are investigating. Authorities warn that cars that are seen driving aimlessly around the area are considered suspicious and they may be linked to the dumping. So if you see any of it, you can contact the park directly, 508-884-8280. And of course,
Watson.
you can also contact the police. The Greater Taunton Area Allied Veterans Council cordially invites everyone to the Memorial Day Parade on Monday. The procession will begin next Monday at 11 a.m. It'll head down the traditional route, down Broadway and past the Taunton Green before ending on 4th Street. Join your friends and family as we honor our brave veterans, past and present, here in the city of Taunton. Now the check on sports. Let's see, Major League Baseball, the Boston Red Sox begin the weekend series with the Minnesota Twins at Fenway Park tonight, 7:10 p.m. Minor League Ball, the Worcester Red Sox lost to the Rochester Red Wings 9-4 yesterday.
Probably.
The teams play again at Fenway Park
July.
6:05
Mid-July.
p.m. In the Frontier League, let's see, the Brockton Rocks lost to Quebec 14-10 last night at Campanelli Stadium. It was a slugfest.
What's the first Tuesday? What's the second Tuesday in July?
The Rocks committed 4 errors.
Second Tuesday or Wednesday in July?
And Troy, New York, they'll play the Tri-City Valley Cats tonight at 6:30 p.m.
Wednesday's the first. We're not back. So what? That's the 8th or 9th, maybe, or 7th or 8th or something.
Minor League Soccer, Rhode Island FC.
Exactly.
They're back in regular season action. That's on Saturday night at 7:30 p.m. They welcome expansion club Brooklyn FC to Centerville Bank Stadium in Pawtucket. It's also World Soccer Night. Now the forecast for the long Memorial Day weekend. For today, partly sunny, not all that warm, a high near 66 degrees, light northeast winds. Tonight, mostly cloudy, lows in the mid-40s. Saturday, cloudy, a high near 64 degrees. Saturday, showers, cloudy, a low around 45. Sunday, showers, a high near 58 degrees, not all that warm. Sunday night, showers, maybe a thunderstorm, a low around 50. And not too bad for Memorial Day. A chance of showers, mostly cloudy, and highs reaching the low 70s. Headlines, presented by Morton Hospital in Taunton. They're now part of Brown University Health.
The future is bright at Morton Hospital, now proudly part of Brown University Health. This change welcomes a new chapter for our community, one where Morton is empowered to truly shine. As part of Brown University Health, Morton can continue to provide the trusted care you depend on, supported by leading science that lights the way. Still local, now limitless. Morton Hospital is now part of Brown University Health.
This message is from Mo Capital. This is Donald Russell.
Nope. What am I doing? 268.
Voices of Our Region is a live, community-centered radio program that explores the rich cultural histories and contributions of the diverse populations that have shaped southeastern Massachusetts. It's hosted by Louis Laura Fridays and airs from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at AM 1530 and 99.7 FM WBBF. Join Louis for some great hometown conversations, stories, and interviews with people about the traditions that continue to define our area. That's Voices of Our Region with Louis Laura from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. right here on your hometown radio station, WBBF.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host and do not express the views of WVBF ownership or Hometown Talk Radio. Content aired on all programs are those of the host and their guests. It's time for Hometown Talk on AM 1530 and 99.7 FM. Your hometown radio station.
Yellow mic
Phone lines are
here.
now open at 508-822-1106.
3, 2, 1, and 0. And good morning, everybody, and welcome to Hometown Talk. There we go. I'm forgetting what day it is, and I'm forgetting what show it is. Hometown Talk. It is Friday. It is a beautiful Friday morning here, May 22nd, 2026. And I'm not alone today. Joining across from me here is Don. Good morning, Don.
That's why you were discombobulated, because I'm usually sitting in front of you on a Sunday and not on a Friday.
I think it's Sunday.
Yeah. And the new Space Age 28th century studio here at WVBF.
Yes, in the
has
words
no windows,
of,
so we don't even know if it's day or night or the way it should be. That's how radio should be.
And
No
the way-
windows, no windows on a radio station. What are you kidding me?
in the words of Barry Sanders, the 22nd, 23rd, 28th century WVBF studios.
I think he started that over at the other Broadway location.
Yes, he did.
But that had one window. We do have no windows there. So
We have no windows.
we could
Yes.
be anywhere in the world right now. But we are at the famous Roseland Ballroom.
Yes,
A
we
lot
are.
of history on this footprint here. So we're just, a lot of big acts played here over the years. It was a destination for people to come all over New England, all over the world. And there's a great restaurant attached here. And I like this spot. This is my favorite out of the three studios. The last one was good. It was nice. It was spacious, but too spacious. I like cramped. Cramped is good for me when it comes to the radio. When it comes to, little radio station. So whatever.
Yeah. You heard on the morning wake up news this morning. We have a problem once again with illegal dumping. My message: do not do it. Do not illegally dump. I think it is sad that it's happening. It ruins the environment for people. It ruins the spaces that people want to go and see as well. When you see just a pile of trash there, I think it's sad. I really do. You hear about it. You're hearing about it again, and it's sad. It happens too much. Don, your thoughts on this, because this is a big story.
Everyone has a camera, number one. So if you're responsible for that, it's done. And wait till the environmental police get a hold of you. You're talking $20,000, $30,000 in fines. Because what the environmental police will do is they'll take anything you threw away, and it has a substance as far as how bad it is for the environment. Meaning, if you throw a couch on the ground, the couch may have a different fine number than some tires or old oil. That can run into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. And then if you said it was around a beach near water. So if they're doing it, if it's near water, then add more.
Yeah.
I mean, for what it costs to get rid of stuff, it's a pain, I know, but the fines are unbelievable. And you could do jail time.
Mhm.
You could do jail time, especially if it's near environmental sensitive areas,
Like water.
like water.
Yeah.
People are so dumb. Okay.
Don't do it.
Well, you know what? They gotta catch them. They gotta catch somebody.
Yes.
Believe me, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Just pay to get rid of it. Everyone else has to pay to get rid of it. I mean, they're probably the nicest place in the beach. You know what I mean? They will take it to the nicest place where families enjoy themselves. But it's bad everywhere, though.
It is.
It's bad behind
It definitely
supermarkets,
is.
behind department stores, people's dumpsters getting topped off. So when people in the apartment buildings or where they live need to empty their trash, now their trash is around. And it's just wrong.
You see it a lot.
It's just wrong. Anyone says, "Oh well, it's too expensive." Shut up. Shut up.
Yeah.
Just shut up. Okay, it's no one's problem. It's your trash.
Not as expensive
It's
as
not
the
the
fines.
state's problem. It's not the city's problem. It's not the USA's problem. It's your problem. It's your
Yours.
trash. You deal with it. It's
Exactly.
your trash.
Yes.
Okay, don't be a slob.
The pay to get rid of it is definitely not as expensive as the fines you're going to pay if you're caught dumping.
Like I said,
Don't do it.
They think it'll just be a fine. No, they're gonna say, oh well,
Jail time too.
they get, like I said, the environmental police come on to break off their tape measures. Well, yeah,
Mhm.
6 feet from the water, that's another fine. You over near this environmental sensitive plant, you know,
Yeah.
if they want to get you, they gotta get you, and I hope
Exactly.
they do. I hope they do. I hope they pull out every stop when you catch these people.
Exactly. All right, weather outside.
Keep America beautiful. Do not litter.
Do not litter. Exactly.
Woodsy, you know,
Especially this
Woodsy Owl. Woodsy Owl. Remember Woodsy Owl?
this time of year.
You remember Woodsy Owl? The Woodsy guy, owl guy, do not pollute.
No.
Give a hoot, don't pollute.
I
You
think
know-
I've
you
heard,
never-
I've heard of that.
Give a hoot, don't pollute.
I think I've heard of that saying.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't, you know, keep America beautiful.
Keep America beautiful. Exactly. Especially now.
And also, too, pick up truck drivers. Do not throw your Dunkin' Donuts cups and your trash and all your bottle, you know, your bottles and so it blows out on the
Yeah.
highway.
All right, weather 57 degrees and cloudy outside. Feels like 50 out there right now, so a little bit cooler because of the wind, but really nice temperature today. It's going to be in the mid 60s today, low of 49, but it's going to be really nice all day today. It will warm up starting Monday. We've got a couple of more days of the cooler weather, a couple of more nights of the cooler weather, and then we get into Monday, Memorial Day, where it starts to warm up quite a bit here briefly. You have a couple of days of 80-degree weather, and then we get right back into the 60s and even 50s again as we head almost into June now at this point. Again, the temperatures seem to kind of are struggling a little bit to stay above average, or at average. So that's something to keep an eye on there as we head into June. Coming up for the show today, real quick, 10:35 a.m. We're going to be speaking with Paul Lazarovich, and we're going to speak about all sorts of different things. His show. Cape Cod Baseball League. He has some things, pretty interesting stuff to talk about when it comes to that. And also Cape Cod events as well. What is going on the Cape when we get into the summer months? There's a lot of great events that happen on the Cape, and Paul is going to be talking about that too. That's at 10:35 a.m. this morning.
Yeah, he's right down on the Cape. You follow that whole Cape Cod Summer League thing going on.
And that's coming up on
That's nice.
June 13th. So that's
Yeah.
coming up here. During our sports segment, we'll also talk about another baseball team that we haven't seen in a couple of years, but they are back as of the 27th. They will be back. They had their first game in Norwich coming up on the 27th.
Norwich, Connecticut.
Norwich, Connecticut. And then they will have their home game in Lowell, Locklear Park, next Friday.
The Lowell
And that is
Spinners.
the Lowell Spinners. They are
Nice.
back. Their home opener is next Friday night. We'll talk a little bit about that as well during our sports segment. Our transportation segment, well, we have a lot to get to in our transportation segment. We'll have an update on the MBTA, what's going on there. We'll have an update on Amtrak. There's a lot going on with Amtrak.
And there's some sad news in the racing world too.
And there's in our sports segment, there is some sad news in the racing world. So we'll get to that too as well. But let's finish up with the weather, and we'll take our first commercial break after that. As I mentioned, Taunton, it's going to be pretty nice. Middleborough, 56 degrees, cloudy skies. It's going to be cloudy throughout the day today, but no rain, which is good. 62 for the high, 48 for the low. And it's going to be cloudy for quite a few days here. We're not going to see a lot of the sun, it seems like, this weekend. But not a lot of rain, it looks like. So that's good. Driscoll, Texas. Now, we're going to do this just as a comparison as to what's happening in other parts of the world, other parts of the country. Driscoll, Texas, 77 degrees right now and cloudy as well. It's going to be cloudy throughout the day today over there in Driscoll, Texas, which is a suburb of Corpus Christi, Texas. 89 degrees for the high, 72 for the low. So it's pretty nice out there in Texas as well. And we have some listeners, I'm sure, listening to us in Holiday, Florida. 80 degrees, a high of 90 today with a low of 75 in Holiday, Florida. A place where we're going to be in a couple of weeks, me and Dawn. As we mentioned before, we're going on vacation in late June. We'll be gone for about 10 days or so in June 22nd up until July 3rd. So
I wonder how many miles we're gonna be sailing.
I wonder that too.
Because-
That's something we got to
Well, I'm
calculate.
getting stupid. I'm getting stupid with the ferries. I'm kind of planning the trip. I got a ferry in Connecticut. I got a ferry in New Jersey. I got a ferry in Delaware. 2 ferries in Maryland. 2 in North Carolina. 3 in North Carolina, and then I'm looking for 1 in Florida somewhere. The lake. So we'll probably be doing. But the Cape Hatteras ferries are actually part of the transportation network. Like Route 12
Yeah.
is North Carolina 12. They call it. Runs the bank of the Cape Hatteras, and there's a couple free ferries. But even the paid ferries, which is like a 2.5 hour, it's only $15 for 2 passengers in a vehicle.
Yeah.
So that's cheap. You know,
Yeah, I
compared
mean,
to
yeah.
Other place. Well, and the Cape May ferry is a little pricey. I think it's like $80. And then you have like the Howland Chester ferry, which is one of the oldest. Harem. I hope I get it right. It's in Connecticut. It crosses over the
Hadline?
Hadline, yeah.
Yeah.
And it crosses right where Gillette Castle is. So that's a big castle, overlooks the canal. That's a night. It's like $5 across. It's beautiful. You know what it is? You drive through the Connecticut countryside, and then you pull up, and there's a gate, and then okay, let's cross on the ferry, and you wait, and it's like one of the oldest ones in the country. I mean, it's nice, and you buzz across. You talk to the ferryman, the toll taker or whatever.
Yeah.
And you cross, and it's just like it's the whole idea of like getting to a destination is so fun. I mean, when we have to drive back, we're gonna beeline it back, but
Yeah.
I've done this route a couple times, and I make it crazier and crazier every time.
You don't have to travel that far to see some very beautiful views in this area. Of course, you got the Berkshires, you got the Adirondack, you got Connecticut, several different spots in Connecticut as well. Even in Rhode Island, some of the more remote areas of Rhode Island. Very, very nice stuff.
It seemed like west of 295 Rhode Island is nothing.
Yeah.
There's
Nothing
nothing.
at all.
You go about 3 miles and there's some towns or whatnot, but 44, mostly 44. I think that's Coventry. Is it Coventry? No. North Smithfield or Smithfield. So you head west of that, and there's nothing. There's no strip malls. There's no friends. Not until you get to 395 in Connecticut.
Route 6 is fun to drive at night. I'll just say that. I don't know how you do it, but it's fun to drive at night. I'll say that. Anyone who has experience on Route 6, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, what, through Connecticut?
Yeah.
That's the beeline from Hartford to Providence to go that way. Actually,
Yeah.
they were supposed to build an interstate, and there's a 384 out of Hartford, Connecticut, which goes Manchester, Connecticut, and it goes maybe 10 miles, and it just ends. And then it was supposed to connect, and there's a town called Willimantic,
Yeah.
Connecticut. They got like a stretch of highway that runs through it. It's like 6 miles, and we can go 65 miles an hour. And that was built in 1972. And it was supposed to connect, and it never did. It never did. There was supposed to be an interstate running from Providence to Hartford.
Yeah.
And it takes about an hour and a half to do the drive, I think, like 2 hours. Yeah, it's like 70 miles, I think, or 80 miles between Hartford and Providence. It takes like a couple hours because of the speeds and the fuel lights and stuff like that. But you know what else is a really nice ride? It's right in our backyard. Is driving along the Taunton River down in Dayton and
Absolutely.
Somerset.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, you go down even the stretch of 138. Even you leave here, you go down through Taunton and then you're in Dayton and it's right there. You take that left over near the old Dayton train station, the old abandoned one there. And then you get on the and you can drive all the way pretty much down to Fall River.
Mhm.
along. It's one of the most beautiful, one of the best drives around. Don't you think, Joey?
Oh, I agree. I absolutely agree 100%. So many awesome drives around here, and you don't have to go that far at all.
But like I said, I'm doing the drive. I'm doing doing a certain route, and as soon as we leave here on Sunday, we're gonna head out of here. The beautiful ride starts within 5 miles from here.
Yes.
I mean, one of the highlight of the trips, other than all the ferries and the bridges and all this, all the seashore kind of communities we're going to be driving through, it starts on the Taunton River. It starts out the mouth of the Taunton River, which made Taunton. I mean, that river had a lot to do with making Taunton what it is today.
I agree. Absolutely 100%. Speaking of the history of Taunton, if you want to check out a great program a little bit later on today at 11 a.m. this morning. Voices of Our Region with Louie Laura. We will be replaying last week's program, which is part 2 of a big kind of history lesson of Taunton, and that is with William Hanna. So keep your ears on for 11 o'clock with that, because it is a fascinating 2 hours for sure.
Is he going to do number 3?
We're not done, so I would assume so. Yes.
What a way to start a show.
Absolutely.
To have that, so get the history of everything done, and then I listened to the show, and it's great. Louis is awesome.
Absolutely.
Louis is such a good guy, and he always makes me laugh every time I see him. He's just Louis and Mark. I mean, I love them. I love them together. Those guys are just like, they're such best friends, and talk about cast the characters. They're awesome. You know what I mean? It's great to see them. They're great people, and it's good. He's been talking about trying to do something for a show or whatnot. And, I think it's going to get good. I think he's going to get some really good. So just stay tuned. Plus, I mean, it's a Good Friday. Listen, I mean, after Hometown Talk, listen to Joey.
Yep. Yep.
So, we hope to be airing an interview with Mo Guthrie at some point. I did make the phone call today. He's going to call me back, and he said he will give us a interview. I couldn't do it over the winter because I went to related job, so I just couldn't get the time off. But I don't know, we wouldn't know. But I mean, hopefully it'll be a
good interview as always. All right.
The last one was pretty good.
All right, 9:28. Let's take our first commercial break right now. We'll get a couple of commercials and our news. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes here with some news stories here when it comes to the local area as well. We'll give our update. I like to do this every couple of weeks. We'll give our business update. The stock market is just opening up here in just a couple of minutes, actually just a couple of seconds from now, 9:30 open for the stock market. So we'll give an update on the stock market as well and see what's going on there. But let's take our break and we'll be right back.
One in 10 people age 50 and older in the U.S. have early age-related macular degeneration.
Because macular degeneration often has no early symptoms, many don't know they have it until irreversible vision loss has already occurred. Well, when I first found out that I had macular degeneration, it was really scary. I mean, my eyes were not living.
What's most important for me to see my family, my loved ones, my pickleball game, everything I do is dependent upon my vision.
Being able to see, be able to spend time with my children, be able to travel is extremely important. And I wouldn't be able to do that if I didn't have my vision. Don't miss life's most beautiful moments.
Schedule a comprehensive eye exam to protect your sight.
Macular Degeneration Research, a Bright Focus Foundation program, offers free resources and tips for healthy vision.
Go to stopamd.org to learn more.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Tomlinson. Secretary of State Rubio says there's been slight progress in talks with Iran amid uncertainty about a potential deal or renewed conflict. Rubio is in Sweden now for a NATO meeting where the alliance is discussing its role in the Strait of Hormuz, among other matters. Tensions persist as Iran has closed the strait and the U.S. is blockading Iranian ports. President Trump is sending an additional 5,000 American troops to Poland.
His announcement came just weeks after he had ordered the same number of troops to be pulled out of Europe. NATO officials were meeting in Helsingborg, Sweden, when they reacted to the news, including Swedish Foreign Minister Maria Malmö Stenergard.
Well, it is confusing indeed, and not always
No, it's
easy
not.
to navigate.
NATO Secretary
No, it's not. It's
General
simple.
Mark Rutte seemed
Poor-
pleased with the
Poland
decision, and so
is
too
right
did
next
Polish
to
Foreign Minister
Ukraine and
Radosław
Russia.
Sikorski.
What's going on in Ukraine and Russia right now? Oh yeah, a war. Yeah,
Trump
so
announced the deployment
that
on
makes
Truth
sense.
Social, citing strong ties
not
with
confusing
Polish
at all.
President Karol
when you think
Nawrocki.
about it, when you sit
I'm
down
Lawrence
and think
Brooks.
about it.
Another Trump
2
project
seconds.
proposed for the nation's capital has cleared another hurdle.
President Trump says there are 59 of them in the world. He's talking about a triumphal arc. It's usually done for victories in war and things. But Washington, D.C., we're the only important and major city that doesn't have one. But the U.S. Commission of Fine Arts has now given final approval to the design.
Correspondent Ben Thomas says another federal agency would have to approve it before the project could go ahead. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton touting the president's endorsement as he heads into the final days of his Republican primary runoff against Senator John.
There's one, I think there's
Wall
one
Street,
that's
ahead of
used
this
as like
morning's opening bell. Dow futures
the
are
middle
up
of a rotary.
356 points. NASDAQ futures 117 points higher. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Health insurance rates are surging in America, leaving millions
Where would you
without
put it?
affordable options.
DC?
If you're
Like
sick
right next
of
to your-
having paychecks
right
eaten
next
up
to
by
the White
healthcare
House?
costs or dealing with
Probably.
mega corporations, then listen to this. Christians don't need to waste money on a broken system. That's why I want to tell you about
I don't know where you would put it
Healthcare
in DC.
Ministries. It's an alternative to traditional health insurance at half the cost. With CHM, fellow believers contribute monthly to help pay each other's medical bills. There's no enrollment period, so you can join anytime, and you aren't restricted to provider networks, so you choose the doctors and hospitals you want. It's that simple. CHM is not insurance. It's a ministry that puts faith into action. Feel the difference of financial support and biblical care from fellow believers.
No, I've seen
Join
previous.
CHM today by visiting
The Huts
chministries.org/wellness. That's
The Huts, they speak.
chministries.org/wellness.
Which
They do speak.
ruins the thing because
Some union
Java didn't.
Samsung workers in South Korea are voting on a proposed
No, he didn't.
deal to
Yes,
head off
he did.
the
He didn't speak English.
Samsung's
In the
chip
regular
business
Star
and
Wars.
its
He didn't
profits
speak
have
English in
soared
the regular
thanks
Star
to
Wars.
the AI boom.
A deal between the union
I'm
and
saying,
Samsung
like-
was only reached
Like
hours
he didn't know what he
before
was
the
saying
deadline.
other than
As part of the deal,
Captions.
Samsung will set aside around 10% of its
Ruins the
profit
English
as
one.
bonuses for its employees.
I love the idea
Each
of the
worker in the company's memory
Now,
chip
what's the
division
timeline on
is
that?
expected to bring home hundreds
Ah.
of thousands of dollars worth of stocks.
well, it's not
this year.
Java,
The
so I
union's
don't know.
leaders celebrated the deal, but other employees
after
in the
the
company who make
fall of
TVs
the,
and phones will
Empire?
miss out on the windfall.
That's BBC's Jay Kwan in
Is it?
Seoul. Israel says it has released and deported
Oh,
hundreds of
I don't-
activists who took part in
Again,
a
I have no
flotilla
clue.
trying to breach Israel's
I don't
naval
know.
blockade of Gaza. The Israeli Foreign Ministry says that all foreign activists have now been deported. News and analysis at Town Hall.
I never liked Grogu.
MVP and
So,
Super Bowl champ quarterback
it's just
has
not for me,
resigned to a
because I never liked
money
Grogu.
deal.
I think
Reigning
Grogu
NFL
is
most valuable player Matthew
it's a
Stafford
childlike
has agreed
character,
to a
and
one-year
I'm
contract
not into it.
extension through the 2027 season with the
Not a
Los
kid,
Angeles
you know.
Rams. ESPN
I
reported
don't
the
know.
deal is worth $55
I mean, I
million.
like the
The
Mandalorian
deal
thing,
indicates that
but what
the
I want to see
58-year-old
from Star
quarterback
Wars
at least strongly
is them
thinking about
incorporate
staying with
some
the Rams
characters
past the
that
upcoming season.
were in the
Rams
comics.
surprised the league by drafting Alabama
They own
quarterback
that. They
Ty
own it.
Simpson with
They
the
own it now.
13th
They
overall
own
pick last
characters
month.
like Darth
I'm
Revan
Devin
and stuff like
Cool.
that. Like I want them to implement that stuff.
I want them to
That
stay in
era.
I want them to stay. I don't want to go into the old
Not
comics
completely wiping out
They already
chance of
are.
violent weather.
for movies.
NOAA
Yes,
is
they already
forecasting
are.
a
Well, not for
400
movies,
season,
but like for
season with
television
fewer
shows,
named storms
comics
and
now.
hurricanes.
They're starting
More
to
on
dip
these
their
stories,
toes into the old republic.
townhall.com.
I want to see that. Like like from what I've seen from the Old Republic, I think that's pretty cool.
Hey,
You know, it's better
when
than
it comes to great food and
having to see another movie
you
about
gotta
Ray.
go to a science. But when it comes to online marketing, ordering, and delivery,
So that was
Power
the
Now has got you
that was the
covered.
9.
Power Now has 0%
That was a 9-movie series. Nothing new. I mean, I like, but the thing is now they can just, you know, this is the 3rd movie they did
Yes.
off the original 9.
Mhm.
Okay, this
Yep.
one's coming out today.
Commission-free online marketing.
Well, me and Jay are going out today. He called to cancel because he's just got too much going on. So
That's fine.
I'm like, you sure you don't want to go?
No, I don't.
I'm Lieutenant Roderick of the Taunton Police Department.
I'd rather
Before we think about drinking and
I'd
driving,
rather
please think about this.
go get
Every day,
lunch,
28
hang
people in the
out,
United States die
and
in
not
motor vehicle
go to the
crashes
movies.
that involve an alcohol-impaired driver. This amounts to 1 death every 53 minutes. About 1 in 3 traffic deaths in the United States involves a drunk driver. Driving with a blood alcohol concentration of 0.08 or higher is considered alcohol-impaired operation of a motor vehicle by law. Before you decide to drink and drive,
They
just
have
think about that. Think about the
so much they
consequences
can
for
do
your
in the Old
family
Republic.
and your work.
They
Think
have
about how
a
you will get back and forth to work
built-in
every day. Think about the
actor
innocent people
who
who may be
can
hurt or
play
killed
Darth
who choose to get
Revan,
behind the wheel after drinking.
and it
Think
would
about the
work.
cost.
And that's Keanu
You can
Reeves.
make a difference. Choose not to drink and drive.
Do it.
Our officers are committed to keeping drunk drivers
Do it.
off the road. Don't drink and drive this long holiday weekend, and be sure to buckle up. The life you save could be your own. Brought to you by the Taunton Police Department and WVBF.
Okay. Gonna get into local stories in a second. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. And welcome back. I turned down the bumper music. There we go. It's 9:37 a.m. here now. As we like to do every couple of weeks, every 2 to 3 weeks or so, we like to take a quick look at what's happening in the stock market. I don't usually get into, politics and stuff like that, or, things like this, but like market stuff that often. I'm more of a lighthearted program, like Paul Lazarovich is as well. He's a lighthearted program. He doesn't dive into the politics and things like that. I'm the same way. I don't dive into the politics and things like that. But every couple of weeks, I like to give everyone an update, a quick update on what's happening there in the stock market. So for the Dow Jones, it's up over 50,000 once again, as it reached that, I believe, yesterday. So it's looking to end the week on a strong note. It has been significantly climbing over the past couple of weeks after being down. I believe the lowest it was down after getting up over 50,000 the first time. It was down around 45,000, and now it's back up to 50,000 once again. 274 points in the green as of right now. We're about 10 minutes into the trading day for the stock market here. So the Dow Jones up 276 points right now at 50,562 right now. The NASDAQ is up 202 points for right now, sitting at 26,495.99. So that's over 25,000 as well. And the S&P 500 is up 48 points at 74,94.49 right now. Some of the big movers here that looks like what's happening here. Apple is a big mover, up about 4 points as well. So that is something to keep an eye on. Stock market, again, a couple minutes into the trading day, doing very, very well. So there's your update as to what's happening with the stock market for today. All right, well, 9:40 a.m. here. Open phone lines today, 508-822-1106, 508-822-1106 is the number to call if you want to call in and talk about what was on your mind this morning. Happening in Lakeville, a program on Abigail Adams and the Daughters of Liberty will be presented by Carol Cohen and will be featured at the next meeting of the Lakeville Historical Society. The meeting will take place at 7 p.m. Wednesday, the 27th of May. And that will take place at the Lakeville United Church of Christ, 1 Precinct Street. The program is supported by a grant from the Lakeville Arts Council and a local agency, and a Massachusetts Cultural Council is also a state agency. The program is accessible, free, and open to the public, and there will be refreshments at this as well. So the Adams, John Adams and Abigail Adams, they have a lot of history here in Massachusetts. Of course, you got the Adams House there in Quincy. It's a very important thing as well. And when you have a transportation station named after you, I think that's a pretty big deal. Quincy Adams there in Quincy. I think it's a pretty big deal if you have a transportation station named after you. Right, Don? Let me put your mic on.
Quincy Adams, when they built it in 1984, definitely was a good idea. That big parking garage and whatnot, because the commuter rail didn't hit out to the South Shore until 1997. So a lot of people would drive and they'd park there and take the train line. And now they got that big, huge parking garage there, and no one parks there. And they ripped the one down in Quincy Center. A friend of mine was taking the train there forever. He worked for schools, and he lived. He took the train from Middleborough, and he'd say he'd count all the bottles, all the water bottles that were thrown into the tracks. Just goes to show how people like to litter. Still hasn't. I don't know why people litter. I don't understand. But he's just like looking at it. It's like, this place isn't. It's cracks on the wall and everything. And the Quincy Center commuter rail station is like a dungeon. Do you think it's a dungeon?
It is the dungeon. I call it the dungeon.
There's no lights down there. Oh my God! It's not bright. It works.
It's funny because that's the commuter rail side. That's the dungeon.
Yeah, no, the subway side's lit up. That's
Yeah.
fine. I remember going there as a kid, taking the train, and you see all the paintings on the they're not on the walls. They're like on where the benches are. And they got the first railroad. They got the whole history of Quincy. That's something that's cool. When you go walk around the MBTA infrastructure, there's a lot of history. Like Chelsea commuter rail station, it's newer. They moved it. It's connected to the Silver Line, end of the Silver Line 3. And you walk by and and there's like where the benches are. There's history quotes and there's little tidbits of history of the area. I really find that fascinating. Just to walk around and read up on the areas. Quincy Adams has it. So it's interesting. We do have I think they're doing a good job trying to get the T going again, and trying to make their improvements.
Also in Lakeville, since we're staying on the Lakeville topic here, Lakeville voters went to the polls this week. They strongly rejected a Proposition 2.5 override on Tuesday that would have added $1,000 to the average tax bill over 3 years. Nearly 1 in 3 Lakeville voters turned out to have a say. 3,043 voters casting a ballot out of 9,782 voters. That's a 30% turnout. 30%. That's pretty significant stuff. In the end, the override was defeated across all 3 precincts with 11 91 voters supporting the measure and 1,650 rejecting it. This totals about 40% in favor and 56% opposed. Those were the totals for year one of the override. Questions related to the second and third year were also defeated by also similar margins as well. Passing the override would have allowed the town to spend beyond state mandated limits. With the override voted down, the school and town are looking at cuts to personnel and also to services as well. The schools have said they could lose about 50 positions, with some programs also being vulnerable. The town's side of the budget would also face reductions, including the potential loss of a vacant town planner position as well. The town may also be forced to make the assistant town collector and assessor posts both also vacant part-time, and town administrator Andrew Sukthorth has said as well. The human resources director and assistant and town accountant as well are scheduled to have reduced hours without this override as well. We have a phone call. Let's take that phone call and say good morning, caller.
Well, good morning, Joe.
Good morning.
Very, very quickly, tragedy in NASCAR, boy, that's a tremendous loss. Oh, boy. Wow.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that in the second hour with Kyle Busch. Absolutely, we're gonna get to that. I don't know why my mic is being echoey here. 1 second here. Let me try to fix that. Okay, I don't know what's going on. Let me try to fix that. I don't know what's happening here. Try that again. No.
I just wanted to say, Joe, that what's happening in Lakeville is happening because I haven't heard anybody say how much state revenue that was designated for the town of Lakeville was not appropriated by the legislature.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And Proposition 2.5 only works because there are several categories of so-called local aid, and local aid does not come from the tooth fairy.
Yeah.
Local aid does not come from the genie in the lamp or the great pumpkin or Santa Claus. Local aid comes out of the same pockets of people who pay property taxes. And it's very simple. If what you see in Lakeville is the legislature, the Democrat-dominated, 135 Democrats, 25 Republicans in the House, 35 Democrats, 5 Republicans in the House, and as every 8th grade student knows in any Massachusetts public school, the appropriating body is the legislature, not the governor, not the selectmen, not the school committee. And I guess I must be the only person in Massachusetts who pays proper income tax. Every town should get back a percentage of money that came out of there. It doesn't. They're talking about changing the formula and this and that. But what's the difference? What the formula is if the legislature doesn't then appropriate the money to fund it? Basically, Lakeville is being made to do the dirty work of raising taxes and laying people off, and every state legislature, Republican and Democrat, to be ashamed of themselves that Lakeville even had to ask for that money in the first place. Ashamed of themselves. Every single one. All you hear from Democrat state legislators, how tough it is this year in Boston, and how everything's got this and that. And when you ask a Republican state representative, they say there's nothing I can do about it. Mm-hmm. Who's left holding the bag? Selectmen, school committee, and every town employee. And I said, when they talk about waste and fraud and abuse, people act like they're the first person to ever thought of that. Don't flatter yourself. Those people on that school committee and that finance committee and that board, like, they pay taxes just like you. You think that they want to waste money so that they can pay, they have to pay higher taxes? That's ridiculous. Some people have got to stop looking at taxes as something that is false, error of their local officials, and start asking their state representatives and their state senators that seminal question. Where, show me the money.
Yeah, I think, you know, the easiest way to have your bill get defeated, I think, you know, when it comes to towns like this, is asking people to pay more money. And as I mentioned in the article, $1,000 tax increase. That's not small. That's not tiny at all. And honestly,
Well,
no wonder why.
3
this got
years,
defeated.
right?
Yes.
3 years.
No wonder why this got defeated, in my opinion. Your thoughts, Jim? You there, Jim?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just saying that I think that the problem is that people seem to think by voting no, that there's a way to just cost cut their way out of it. And the fact of the matter is, and the finance committee in my town of Rainham, the city council committee on finance, their budget committee, the Middleborough Select Board, the Middleborough School Committee, they can show you where they're cutting money. They can show you right to the penny.
Mm-hmm.
And when people just, I think, blindly and baselessly say this is waste and fraud, without ever citing a specific example. Some years ago, Jim Browdy, the guy who's from Tax Equity Alliance of Massachusetts, actually had a group of people that was in favor of higher taxes. They had Citizens for Limited Taxation, which I was a part of, to fight taxes, but they had a pro-tax group, and Jim Browdy did a night one night where he said he invited people to call into his show and say, cite an example of waste or fraud. And then he would look it up and say, that's this much money. And he would basically keep track of it. And after 2 hours of calls, they needed to come up with something like $60 million. They hadn't even come up with $1 million of cuts. From people who were saying, that's the problem. When the problem is money you're paying in sales tax, money you're paying in meals tax, gas tax, income tax to the state, right, is not coming back to the town where you live or where you spent it. And I said, local aid shouldn't be defined as here's what's left. But I don't see anybody walking out of state office buildings with pink slips. I don't see the state raising taxes. Ask a state rep or a state senator, when was the last time you raised taxes? The state legislature, which has been dominated by the Democratic Party since 1954, that was the last Republican majority in the Massachusetts House where all tax and spending bills originate. I said, you guys don't have, why don't you vote to give us our money and then you vote to raise taxes if you need some, see how you do at the polls. I don't blame those people for voting no, but I do blame the state representatives of both parties. Both parties are guilty of looking at local aid as, here's what's left, good luck, best of luck to you, we're very busy up here, don't bother. And it's got to stop. Time has come.
Yeah, you talked about
the millionaires' taxes, giving them 4 times the revenue they thought it was going to give. Income tax revenues, oddly enough, inflation has made sales tax revenues go up because the price is higher, so that the tax on it is higher. The state of Massachusetts has plenty of money. They could fully fund local aid just once.
Yeah.
It's never been fully funded, and I've been checking every year since 1973. And the difference is made up by higher local taxes or overrides. And who gets the blame for that? Name one person who calls their state rep or their state senator when they get their tax bill from the city or town. Takes as long as you need on that.
Don, your thoughts?
I don't know. It might be above my pay grade here. I mean, Jim checking everything since 1973, so I don't know.
And Jim mentioned that we haven't had a Republican majority since the 50s. Boston, for example, has not had a Republican mayor since the 30s.
Yeah.
100 years ago, almost.
Right. It's funny because Middleborough, I mean, a trash cans got destroyed like twice in the last 2 months. I called up the DPW and I had a new trash can there. So, I mean, the services that Middleborough provides is really good because when, my father-in-law was sick, we needed, services. They were right there and they were good and they were professional. And I don't know. I mean, like, to keep the people locally there, I might want to pay a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause
Sure.
I don't think I drive around Middleborough and I don't think they waste my money. They do a good job. The place is clean. So as far as a town perspective, a little bit more money's fine. I don't know, 1,000 over 3. What's that? Like $300 something more? I mean, I don't know. What do you think, Jim? No one likes to pay more taxes, but
Well, I think, Don, you're hitting on the head of it, that nobody likes to pay more. But the fact of the matter is, the local dollar, the local things that you can go to town meeting to vote against, or you go to an override to vote against, the majority, two-thirds of the Massachusetts state representatives and state senators are unopposed. And the point is that leaves them free of having to worry about political repercussions like underfunding local aid and forcing the cities and towns to raise taxes instead of making them do it. This is, Joe, thank you for the Republican mayor thing. There has not been a Republican state representative in Boston since the 60s. There was one girl named Gloria Fox who was a Republican, kind of a gadfly, and she filed papers every year to run for state representative as a Republican in the Dorchester Grove Hall district, which was 95% Democrat. And one year, the incumbent didn't return his papers in time, and she got elected as a result of it. But as a first-term, Republican in Boston, and she was then defeated in the next election. I mean, the Republican Party, I blame the party leadership for the failure to put candidates on the ballot. 2 years ago, was the lowest number of Republicans who ran for state legislatures, state house rep, and state senate in the history of the Republican Party, going back to 1800. The fewest, and you can't beat somebody with nobody. And if you're unopposed as a member of the legislature, you want to shortchange your own town? Go ahead. I'm telling everybody the only candidate I've heard for governor so far is Brian Shortsleeve, who says, I won't shortchange the cities and towns. If the towns and the city should get the money that they're entitled to by law, and every one of those local aid categories is, each one of them, the law says, subject to appropriation. And so you can have a formula that says, okay, this times that divided by this equals your local aid. And then let's say it's $1, and then the state only appropriates 75 cents. Where's that other 25 cents come from? The local property tax. That is the biggest con job scam the Democratic Party has been running on this state for over 50 years.
And just to put a quick name on what I was mentioning for the mayors of Boston, his name was Malcolm Nichols. He was elected January the 4th, 1926. So it has been 100 years since we've had a mayor in Boston that was not a Democrat. So here you go. That was not a Democrat. That was a Republican. So there you go. 10 o'clock. Thank you, Jim, for calling in.
Always a pleasure, Don. Listen, keep that guy in line now. Make sure he turns your mic on next time, all right?
no, yeah, I know. I
See you guys Sunday morning.
You doing your fun run on Monday?
Oh. Yes, I assume he is.
Yeah, well, it's a holiday. It's a holiday Monday.
Oh, well, maybe. He might be. I don't know. It is a holiday. So yeah, 10 a.m. We gotta take our break, our news break. When we come back, we'll do our transportation topic, do our sports. Paul will be joining us at 10:35 a.m. Phone calls, your phone calls, 508-822-1106. We'll be right back.
We are AM 1530, WVBF, Middleborough, Taunton, and W259DD, Middleborough Center, 99.7 FM, your hometown radio station.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. Art Thomason. Secretary of State Rubio says there's been slight progress in talks with Iran amid uncertainty about a potential deal or renewed conflict. Rubio is in Sweden now for a NATO meeting where the alliance is discussing its role in the Strait of Hormuz, among other matters. Tensions persist as Iran has closed the strait and the U.S. is blockading Iranian ports. President Trump is sending an additional 5,000 American troops to Poland.
His announcement came just weeks after he had ordered the same number of troops to be pulled out of Europe. NATO officials were meeting in Helsingborg, Sweden, when they reacted to the news, including Swedish Foreign Minister Maria Malmö Stenergard.
Well, it is confusing indeed, and not always easy to navigate.
NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte seemed pleased with the decision, and so too did Polish Foreign Minister Radosław Sikorski.
I want to thank the President and everybody who contributed to this decision.
Trump announced the deployment on Truth Social, citing strong ties with Polish President Karol Nawrocki. I'm Lawrence Brooks.
Another Trump project proposed for the nation's capital has cleared another hurdle.
President Trump says there are 59 of them in the world. He's talking about a triumphal arch. It's usually done for victories in war and things. But Washington, D.C., we're the only important and major city that doesn't have one. But the U.S. Commission of Fine Arts has now given final approval to the design.
Correspondent Ben Thomas says another federal agency would have to approve it before the project could go ahead. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton touting the president's endorsement as he heads into the final days of his Republican primary runoff against Senator John Cornyn. On Wall Street, ahead of this morning's opening bell, Dow futures are up 356 points. NASDAQ futures 117 points higher. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Health insurance rates are surging in America, leaving millions without affordable options. If you're sick of having paychecks eaten up by healthcare costs or dealing with mega corporations, then listen to this. Christians don't need to waste money on a broken system. That's why I want to tell you about Christian Healthcare Ministries. It's an alternative to traditional health insurance at half the cost. With CHM, fellow believers contribute monthly to help pay each other's medical bills. There's no enrollment period, so you can join anytime. And you aren't restricted to provider networks, so you choose the doctors and hospitals you want. It's that simple. CHM is not insurance. It's a ministry that puts faith into action. Feel the difference of financial support and biblical care from fellow believers. Join CHM today by visiting chministries.org/wellness. That's chministries.org/wellness.
Some unionized Samsung workers in South Korea are voting on a proposed pay deal that would head off a threatened strike. Samsung's chip business and its profits have soared thanks to the AI boom.
The deal between the union and Samsung was only reached hours before the union's deadline. As part of the deal, Samsung will set aside around 10% of its profit as bonuses for its employees. Each worker in the company's memory chip division is expected to bring home hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of stocks this year. The union's leaders celebrated the deal, but other employees in the company who make TVs and phones will miss out on the windfall.
That's BBC's Jay Kwan in Seoul. Israel says it has released and deported hundreds of activists who took part in a flotilla trying to breach Israel's naval blockade of Gaza. The Israeli Foreign Ministry says that all foreign activists have now been deported. News and analysis at townhall.com. An NFL MVP and Super Bowl champ quarterback is re-signed to a big money deal.
Reigning NFL Most Valuable Player Matthew Stafford has agreed to a one-year contract extension through the 2027 season with the Los Angeles Rams. ESPN reported the deal is worth $55 million. The deal indicates that the 38-year-old quarterback is at least strongly thinking about staying with the Rams past the upcoming season. The Rams surprised the league by drafting Alabama quarterback Ty Simpson with the 13th overall pick last month. I'm guessing cool ball.
Forecasters expect a developing El Nino
Your
could dampen the
franchise
upcoming
quarterback right now is 38
while
years old, so
not completely wiping out
Not
the chance of violent weather. NOAA is forecasting a below-average season with fewer named storms and hurricanes. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Don't miss InfoTrack weekends here on WVVF. InfoTrack is a weekly nationally syndicated public affairs radio show.
Yeah, they're talking about a very active Pacific season for the Hurricanes. Very active because there's
impartial, balanced coverage
an El
of every
Nino.
story. I'm your host, Chris Whitting, along with a team of talented reporters
Or there will
and
be.
legendary announcer Charlie Van Dyke.
So that
InfoTrack Saturday
that,
mornings at 8:05 a.m. and Sunday
increases
at 9
the
a.m. Here on
hurricanes.
WVVF AM 1530 and 99.7 FM, your hometown radio station.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host and do not express the views of WVVF ownership or Hometown Talk Radio. Content aired on all programs are those of the host and their guests.
It's time for Hometown Talk on AM 1530 and 99.7 FM, your hometown radio station. Our phone lines are now open at 508-822-1106.
Three, 2, 1, and 0. And welcome back to Hometown Talk. This is the second hour of Hometown Talk here. And if you're planning on going to the Cape this weekend, take the train. The Cape Flyer is back tonight. It's back tonight. It makes its return this evening. And Cape Flyer is fun. Cape Flyer is very, very fun.
You didn't like the Cape Flyer. You told me you didn't
Because
like
it was slow. But it's fun.
Yeah, well,
It's fun, but it's slow. So if you don't like slow train rides, you're not
it's
really going
not
to
slow
enjoy
all the
it.
way. It runs 79 miles an hour to the Lakeville station. Okay.
Yeah.
And then from there, it's 50 miles an hour to the bridge, and then
Yep.
it's a 30 mile an hour on the over the bridge in the mainland Cape. So
Yeah.
that's pretty much because that's all dock territory.
The
down there.
Cape portion of it is really nice. So
I mean, but just like, don't show me a train with scratching windows where I can't look out the window or dirty windows.
Yes.
Maybe, you know what?
That's a problem.
I hope they're cleaning the windows. I hope they run through that little car wash, not car wash, train wash they have in South Boston. I've never seen, I know they have one somewhere. I don't know. But I think that thing's been sitting down in Rochester all winter, rotting away.
Yeah.
And let's bring that out. That's what I heard.
So
it's not really the best looking equipment, but I
Yeah.
guess that's they have to work with, I guess.
So the Cape Flyer leaves at 5:22 p.m. this evening. It will go to Braintree, Brockton, Lakeville, Wareham Village, Buzzards Bay, Bourne, and Hyannis. It's expected to arrive at Hyannis at 8 p.m. this evening. About an hour and a half or so, hour and 20-minute layover in Hyannis. 9:20 leaving Hyannis and getting back to South Station this evening at 11:47 p.m. For Saturday and Sunday, we have 7:50 a.m. Boston, leaving Boston South Station and arriving at Hyannis at 10:20 a.m. and then leaving Hyannis at 6:15 p.m. So it plays over all day in Hyannis, and then gets back at 8:45 p.m. That would be a Sunday. Actually, it might be both days for the schedule here. I'm not sure.
Do they have a Monday schedule?
They don't have a Monday schedule.
They don't?
Just Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday. They don't. It doesn't seem like they have a Monday schedule here.
Surprised.
One way is $22. Round trip is $40 if you're departing from South Station. One way is $20 and round trip is $35 if you're departing from South Station and just going to Bourne. And then $5 one way, 8 round trip if you're leaving from Lakeville and going to Hyannis from Lakeville.
$5 one way?
$5.
That's a value. That's
absolutely.
Fuel cost.
So yeah, Cape Flyer is coming up tonight. So if you're going to the Cape this weekend, take the Cape Flyer. All right, we have a phone call. Let's take that phone call. Say good morning, caller.
Yeah, good morning. Is this an Amtrak train?
So the Cape Flyer is not an Amtrak train. No, it is. It's technically an MBTA train, right, Don?
Yes. It's in it's MBTA and has something to do with the Cape Regional Transportation. That they do funds and stuff. But no, it's commuter rail train. It's the Purple Line there.
No, the only reason why I asked you, I just tuned in, and when I heard you say it has a train wash, I worked on the Amtrak train wash back in 2010.
I think the train wash for the commuter rail is up on the north side. Over, I think they have one there because I've never seen the one. I've never seen anything but the Amtrak trains going through that car wash in South Boston. When the train wash, I'm sorry, in South Boston. So you work.
Absolutely.
So you worked there. You did that.
No, I worked for an electrical contractor. JF White Electrical did that job.
Oh,
back in
really?
2010.
Nice. I guess they got to keep the trains clean. I guess but
or try to.
Yeah, absolutely.
But when we rode it, the windows weren't the best. I don't know. You look out a scratchy window. I mean, you got to sell it as a scenic train ride, and you can't look out the window.
And the MBTA is not the only offender. Okay, when we talk about dirty train windows, we don't just pick on the MBTA. There are others.
Yeah, there are others.
I understand.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to double check on that, but yeah, it sounds like a fun time.
Yeah.
Oh, it is. Absolutely.
It's fun watching those trains go through the wash too, though. It really does.
Yeah.
The soaking wet or whatnot. I love the idea of that. Out there. But
Well, the difference with the commuter trains, those are running on diesel. The Amtrak runs on electricity.
right. Do they have the? How does that work? I mean, when they go through the tunnel there for the wash, is they still got the wire up there, still connected and everything?
They've got a catenary in there, yeah. But the thing is that I'm not positive on it, but when it comes time for the wash to happen, it's a 25,000 volt AC line. More than likely, that is shut off temporarily.
Sure, but they don't run the diesels because that's been there before the electrification of the Amtrak. I mean that's been there since I was a kid. So they don't run diesels through there anymore because they do have.
I can't say if Amtrak runs diesel or not, but I know the train itself that you see that parallels 93, that's got a catenary on it of 25,000 volts AC.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
That'll zap you, huh?
But with regards to Amtrak as a whole, do they run diesel? Probably, more than likely.
Yeah, they
But
run.
that's the only Amtrak station I've ever worked in.
Yeah, they run trains out to Chicago at the Lakeshore Limited. It's only one really. So they could probably wash that somewhere else, probably in Chicago or something like that. You're probably right. They just probably run electrics through there.
Now, speaking of Amtrak, they do have the Berkshire Flyer coming back. with summer service for expanded weekend trips between Pittsfield and New York City. So that's coming back as well for the summer season, which has been very successful.
It doesn't do any good for people who want to come from Boston, though. Yeah.
It's been successful, though.
Oh, good.
There's been talks about it being successful.
All right. Okay.
All right. Thank you, caller.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Yeah,
Take care,
bye-bye.
Joey. Yep.
Yeah, bye.
So,
Thank you, caller.
so
All right.
we talked about the train wash, and we actually got a caller.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
That's awesome. So as I mentioned,
work on it, you know.
the Berkshire Flyer is going to be coming back. Amtrak, with a partnership from Mass DOT and New York State Department of Transportation, is kicking off the 2026 summer season with the return of the Berkshire Flyer train for travel between New York City and Pittsfield. This seasonal passenger rail service will begin once again for the summer season on June the 12th and will operate on Fridays and Saturdays and Sundays as well through Fridays and Sundays, not Saturdays. Fridays and Sundays through Sunday, September the 19th, which is probably the day before Labor Day. I'm not sure. I don't know when Labor Day actually is. Actually, Labor Day is before that, so after Labor Day, actually. So
Well, they used to run it to Columbus Day. Are you talking about the Berkshire Flyer?
Berkshire
Oh
Flyer.
yeah, but on
Columbus Day is in October.
On the Cape Cod Flyer, they used to run it to Columbus Day, but I guess the ridership was down. So I just wish they could just tweak the hours better.
Yeah.
On the train, I don't know. One train doesn't seem like it's enough.
Let's take on the phone call and say good morning, caller.
Good morning, guys. I think there's a train wash in Rochester.
Yeah.
When you guys take the Cape Flyer, it's like there's an asphalt plant and it's behind it.
Okay. Yeah. That sounds right.
Next time you guys take that thing, right?
Yeah.
Look to your left. After you go past the trash to energy plant, you'll see it.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yep.
That's funny. That's funny. How that works. I mean, also too, Danny Harmon, our friend from Distant Signal.
Yep.
He did a video on the auto train down in Sanford, Florida.
Yes.
And they talked about how it all works when the trains come in from Lawton, Virginia. Yeah, it comes in around 2:00, and it's like a whole orchestra of things to do to get the people off, get the vehicles off, and they have like one yacht engine, okay, and that runs the whole concept. I think it's mostly the passenger cars. They run it through a train wash there too, and he says that it's probably the cleanest engine on the Amtrak because it runs so they get washed. And then when I took the Amtrak in March, they were clean. The passenger, they were clean, but it's just important to clean it because all the North Side commuter rails, every coach, the windows are all scratched, and I don't know where they put them. Where you can't even really look out the window, and they're not the clean. The windows aren't the cleanest either. But I think when we talked to two people about train washing, that's a record, huh? Quality?
It's an interesting topic.
People want clean trains. They want
clean trains. Exactly. 100% clean trains are important. Please take notes. Amtrak, MBTA, take notes. There are trains out there that are clean.
Yeah.
Take note from Europe, from Japan.
Well, the whole idea, and I'm like I said, I mean, they advertise it. Oh, look out the window. You bring a few kids to go to and they look out the window. Kids love trucks and trains.
Yep.
So they look out the window and they're like, "Daddy, Mommy, I can't see out the window because everything's scratched and dirty."
Yeah. You know how futuristic Japan and their trains are and their rails and the way that they set up the rails? It's like something out of that Harrison Ford film I'm forgetting the name of it right off the top of my
Blade
head right
Runner.
now. Blade Runner.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's from 64 on.
Yeah.
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 But I understand what Japan has and what we don't, and what we have and what Japan doesn't.
Exactly.
We have such an exclusive freight service in this country. I think we get one of the best in the world as far as freight. So we have to share the freight and the commuter rails, and I understand that. That's a give and take. You got to give whatever. But just make them clean. Look at so you can look out the window. You go to every North Shore. There's 4 North Shore lines that leave North Station. All right, for the commuter rail, and then they got the down easter. Every one of those is scratched beyond belief. Scratched. You can't even look out the window. And it's one of the nicest routes. I mean, you go up along. They say the Rockport line is like one of the most scenic routes in the whole system. The beautiful water and stuff, and then even up to Newburyport. That's a nice ride.
Yeah.
Fitchburg. That's a nice ride out to the hills of Western Mass or Central Massachusetts, and.
But it's not useful if you can't look out the window.
I don't know. Maybe they need to order more. I don't know. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know why the North Shore got stuck with all the crap.
So one other Amtrak story I want to mention here before we move on to our sports is that the St. Paul, Minnesota and Chicago Borealis train service between the Twin Cities and Chicago continues to exceed expectations as it celebrates its 2nd birthday. The partnership between the 3 states and Amtrak began in May of 2024, and more than 416,000 passengers have enjoyed the comfortable and reliable service, demonstrating the need for safe and accessible transportation options in Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Illinois. Those trains, Borealis train state, originate in St. Paul at midday and in Chicago in the late morning. They have cafe service with regional items and views of the Mississippi River, and also views between St. Paul and La Crosse, Wisconsin. These trains are operated by Amtrak under contract from Wisconsin and Minnesota and Illinois Department of Transportations, with also support from the FRA as well. And some of the stops, you got stops like in La Crosse as well. So it has done very, very well for themselves as well. And it's not the only train service that's newer for Amtrak. You also got the Mardi Gras as well. That's pretty new and doing very well for itself as well. So Amtrak has shown its ability to make new lines, and those new lines do well. Don, your quick thoughts on that before we move on to our sports.
Yeah, I mean, more options to get people out of the automobiles. I love having an automobile. I love being able to drive to work, but I don't like to be in it all the time because I don't like sitting in traffic. And if you have another option to take the train, that's good. But Amtrak is known for leaving their customers for dead. It's just it's you know what, they charge you a premium, but it doesn't seem like it's a premium service. Maybe they should take lessons from Brightline and on hospitality, on how, because sometimes you get some rude people. Some people who work for Amtrak are pretty rude.
Yeah,
they can be rude, and they whatever. It feels like you cattle. But I go back to what happened about a month and a half ago. They had wildfires in North Florida, and people on a particular Amtrak train just north of DeLand were stuck on the train for 24 hours. They were stuck in the woods. I mean, they couldn't back it up and get it to a station or whatnot. I just don't understand. It's just because the reason I say that is because they can do that. Because we went to New York last Wednesday, And we were waiting at Bridgeport Station for a shuttle train up to Waterbury, Connecticut. And one of the Metro North trains pulled in, and there was a problem. Whatever, the train was within 5 minutes. Someone was announcing the Waterbury shuttle is going to be on the opposite track. Okay, meaning they pulled that off in 10 minutes. Maybe they didn't shut the whole line down. I understand that's a busy commuter rail line from Grand Central. It goes up the State Street station in New Haven.
Mm-hmm.
And then they got shuttles that run from Bridgeport to Waterbury. I think there's another shuttle that runs from South Norwalk to Danbury, and then there's a Can-Am one which is electric, so that they originate from Grand Central. But they were able to do that, but to leave these poor people on the train for 24 hours, they were running out of food. The bathrooms were getting bad. And what do you do? And then people say, we want to get out of here. So, no, you'll be arrested if you leave because you're technically trespassing. And yeah, you know, a couple people did. They just jumped off the train. They just said, we're out of here. Yeah. But to be stranded on the train for 24 hours, they couldn't figure out how to back it up to like a crossing and have buses waiting for these people. They left them on the train for 24. I told my brother that because we did the auto train back in March, and he wasn't really a big fan. I wasn't either. Okay, but it's good for people who are in the 60s, 70s, 80s who don't want to do the drive. But sleeping in coach is a drag. Okay, these people have the cabins and stuff. They pay for the cabins and they can sleep laying down. And but it was the same deal with that wildfire with the auto train too. They left. They were stranded for 12 hours. They finally got off, got buses, took them back to the train station in Sanford, and then the trains came back with their vehicles 24 hours or 48 hours later, or 24 hours later. And then can we get the next train? It's no, it's booked. Drive, because it was March. It was all booked up. So that was horrifying, just to be left for dead. You got people who need medicine. You got older people. You got unsanitary conditions with the bathrooms. And they're not big on cleaning up. They say that the people on that train clean up after the bathrooms. They do not.
No.
They do not. They do not do it.
So 10:28 a.m. here. We got a couple minutes here before the 10:30 news break. We're gonna get to our sports now. Go just fast with this. But we will talk about Kyle Busch here coming out of our 10:30 break. We'll set aside a couple of minutes here to talk about Kyle Busch as well, because that's very important. And I'm sure there are people that know that I talk about sports want to hear what what I'm gonna say there about that situation, sad situation as well. So we'll do that at 10:35 with Paul, as well. Paul calling it 10:35. So stay tuned for that. But our sports, real quick, fast. We have a Red Sox game today. They were off yesterday. They're back at Fenway tonight. 7:10 p.m. start against the Twins at home. That should be an interesting series for the Red Sox as well. And your Red Sox affiliates, Worcester will take on Rochester once again. They're at home at Polar Park. 6:05 p.m. first pitch for that game tonight. Then we have your AA team, Portland, has a game against Reading, and that will get underway at 6 p.m. And they are at Delta Dental Field in Portland, Maine. Doubleheader for Greenville Drive. They will be in Frederick, Maryland. They're taking on the Frederick Keys. Game 1 is at 5 p.m. and then game number 2 is about 45 minutes after game number 1 concludes. Both games are 7-inning games, and it's going to be the same thing for Salem. There will be 2 games First game is at 4 p.m. against Hill City, the Hill City Howlers. That will be in Hill City. I believe Hill City, North Carolina, I believe. It's the Carolina League, so I think North Carolina or Hill City, Virginia, maybe. I'm not sure which state Hill City is in. That's something I'll look at during the news break. But Hill City versus Salem doubleheader. Game 1's at 4. Game 2 is about 45 minutes after Game 1 concludes. All right, 10:30 a.m. Let's take our news break. When we come back, we will have Paul Lazarovich with us. So stay tuned for that here in just a couple of minutes. We'll be right back.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. Arat Thomason, the head of the World Health Organization.
Okay. Gets. There we go. All right.
You call him?
Right now. You there, Paul? Oh, no. Let me see here. Oh, guess not. Wait for him to call me back. See if he calls me back. I did dial him. Dial the number. Give a minute or so. Call it again.
Michigan weather right now.
Try again here. Oh, that is not what I want. That's the wrong number. Try it again. There we go. There we go, it's dialing now. I don't think it was dialed the first time. Paul? Hello? Hey, Paul. All right, we got a couple minutes here, and we'll be on the air. Okay, we're going to start off the interview by taking a few minutes to talk about Kyle Busch, okay? That's cool with you? Okay.
How you doing, Paul? Today, I had today off, so I hang out with Joey, and I'm gonna go see the new Star Wars movie after we're done. Joey doesn't want to go with me, but I'm gonna go. I've been ever since I've been 10 years old. I've always made the first, within a week of the opening of a new Star Wars movie. My whole life, I've always done it, so I'm not gonna break tradition. You know what I mean?
No, a little bit too childish for me. You know, the Grogu and Mandalorian thing, a little bit just too childish for me, honestly. Not a fan of Grogu.
You know, I'm 59 years old and I'm never going to grow up. This is technically would be the 13th movie that's like a feature cinema release, I believe. You know, with the 9 movies, the 2 other ones, and there was the Clone Wars, and then this one. So it would be number 13. But yeah, since 1977, I started this in '77, and I've never missed an opening Star Wars within a month.
Good for you, John.
So I'll go by myself, and he's gonna ask me how it is, and I'm not gonna answer him.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell him.
I'll watch it when it comes out on Disney Plus. That's all. You know, because it will be out on Disney Plus like
nothing
a year from now.
Nothing beats it in the cinema. Do you agree, Paul? Nothing beats it in the cinema.
I agree. Get that extra popcorn and don't bring any home for Joey then. You eat yourself.
You know what? I haven't had. I gave up on soda kind of. I don't drink soda as much, but I'm gonna have my soda pop and I'm gonna have my greasy popcorn.
I mean, that's kind of that's kind of important, you know, for a movie theater. You gotta have your soda and your popcorn. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, and 0. And welcome back as I turn down the bumper music. There we go. Bumper music is down. It is now 10:36 a.m. Welcome back to Hometown Talk. And we have Paul Lazarovich with us, joining us via the phone lines. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning, Joe. Good morning, Don. I have the famous father-son radio team. Good to talk to you guys.
So I'll start off here, finishing up our sports segment, because it was something I really wanted to get to. It was really important. Yesterday, we heard about the unfortunate passing of Kyle Busch, an American professional stock car driver for NASCAR, part of that brother tandem, Kurt and Kyle Busch. You know, one of the most notable drivers in NASCAR's modern history. Of course, that number 18, that M&M car there for Kyle Busch. He drove in so many races, you know, Cup Series, the Truck Series as well. He literally dominated that series. He has the most wins in that series. Also, the most wins in the O'Reilly Auto Parts series as well. He had just won a race in the Truck Series the week before he passed. He was, or is it the O'Reilly series? It was one of the series. He won a race recently, just before he passed away. And we got the word on Thursday morning that he was admitted into the hospital. And then that same day, he passed. Just an unfortunate, really unfortunate news there for Kyle Busch. Definitely a first ballot Hall of Famer when it comes to when that's, you know, it's time to get, you know, into the Hall of Fame and his name gets called. He will definitely be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Just a huge loss in the world of NASCAR. As I mentioned, multiple time champion. He won in 2015, won in 2019. I believe 2015 was the year he won the series championship. And that was the year he broke his leg, I think. He came in, you know, early on in the year, he broke his leg, and then he came back, and he won the championship that year. 2009 Nationwide Series champion. Just, again, a legend. Most wins in the Truck Series, most wins in the Xfinity Series as well. Just unfortunate. He was 41 years old, and it was very sudden. Paul, your thoughts?
I'm just wondering, so is there any disclosure about what caused his accident?
So the only thing that we really know is that he had, after a race recently requested a doctor, and that he had been dealing with a cough and little things like that. And then we hear about on Thursday yesterday that he was admitted into the hospital, and again that same day passing away. So we don't really know too much at all, other than it was very sudden kind of deal. Don, your thoughts real quick on Kyle Busch.
It's tragic. You got to find out exactly what happened soon when the tests all come back. But it's just, you never know. I mean, every day could be your last. You live your life to the fullest. And if you have any kind of situation like a nagging cough or anything that you think is out of the ordinary, get it taken care of. I mean, we've had a family loss, and there was telltale signs that there was a problem, and it was ignored.
Yeah.
It just didn't think it was a big deal, and then all of a sudden, you got the phone call, the bad phone call. So I mean, condolences to Kyle Busch's family and all his fans, and
his family, his wife, his son as well. It's really heartbreaking stuff. Well, Paul, first question we want to ask you here is what is happening for the month of, for this upcoming Thursday, which will be the last Thursday of the month of May, and then for June, what's coming up for your show?
Okay. I'm on every Thursday morning to 11 on WVF, and I've made the big time. I'm pouring on Joey Driscoll. Louis, thank you. I feel like a big list. Pastor Driscoll from Louis Beach, and always working the program.
Hey, Paul.
How it works is in today's your phone. I'm actually looking at different topics we're getting. What happens is after the show on Thursday, I usually don't look at my computer or think about the program, but on Fridays I'm doing now. I'm sitting down, scurrying, looking over the Damascus News and West Ham News, Talk Daily Gazette, Brockton Enterprise, look to see what's going on in the area. So don't have a specific topic, but one of the topics I know will be covered will be the Cape Cod baseball, which particularly with the proximity of Middleborough and the Prairie Country areas of Bourne and the Bourne and Wareham. So do you and your dad get down to a game at all?
So I would love to this season at some point. Probably would be later on in the summer if we do that. Again, Wareham, it's right down the street from where we are. Yeah. So that would be the perfect opportunity as well. I know that you were talking to me about the Cape Cod Baseball League, and one of the things, and most of the minor leagues do this as well too, because I remember listening to a story. They had one of the Portland Sea Dogs games. One of the fans they had on the air with the announcers during the game in one of the innings was talking about this as well, where they house some of the players. And they do that in the Cape Cod Baseball League as well, Paul. And you were telling me that you're going to be participating in that this summer. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's an interesting night. My wife and I have been fans of the Cape Cod Baseball League for a long time. And I've been a fan even before I met my wife. In fact, I met her on Cape Cod. But, Cape Cod League goes back to 1923. And right now, the players all across the United States, they're recruited. They're recruited, and they usually play NCAA college, usually Division I, but there's some two and Division III players. And as most folks might know, we have the nearby Wareham Gateman, we've got teams in Warren, Brewster, Chatham, Katuitt, Howard, Orleans, and York Jets. I wanted to get them all in, but what's really cool is it's a 40-game regular season, and they have a championship in August, and then the guys go back to school. But what's really cool is the baseball games and the league are operate primarily with volunteers, and they get really unique. I mean, you go there and they have their 50-50 raffles with a player, and I'm always hope it's a big, tall player. They measure by the arm how many the tickets get. But so those great cool language and a lot of fun. It's just a lot of fun. I want to throw some things interesting. There are 300 alumni playing in the done 16 all time. What
Yeah, Paul. Hey, Paul.
Pittsburgh Pirates all teams play to win. Rick Bale played for Dennis Cox. I don't know the rest of the show, but even National Baseball Hall of Fame for Tommy Ellison.
Paul.
So you're seeing the original wooden bat league and a lot of college leagues now using the wooden bat league, and it makes a lot of fun.
Hey, Paul, can you do us a favor? Could you call us back, because we're getting a lot of breakup between us here. I'm gonna hang up, and could you give us a call back?
I'll call you right back, Joe and God.
Okay, thank you so much. Yep. All right, Paul's gonna give us a call back. Yeah, Paul was talking about some of the teams here for the Cape Cod Baseball League. You have the Bourne Braves, you had the Brewster Whitecaps, you had the Chatham Anglers, the Katuitt Kettlers, the Falmouth Commodores, the Harwich Mariners, the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, the Orleans Firebirds. You had the Wareham Gatemen, and then of course you have the Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox. So those are your teams for the Cape Cod Baseball League here this year. So turn this down here, try to see if we can hear Paul a little bit better here. Paul, you there?
I'm right here, Joe. Is that a little bit better?
Oh yeah, that's definitely much better. Thank you for that. All right. Yeah, we were just talking about the teams. Paul for the Cape Cod Baseball League. It's the Bourne Braves, the Brewster Whitecaps, Chatham Anglers, the Katuitt Kettlers, the Falmouth Commodores, Harwich Mariners, the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, Orleans Firebirds, the Wareham Gatemen, and of course the Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox. So, that's always interesting to me. The Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox. I wonder how they got that name. The Red Sox branding. You look at their logo as well. It's basically the Red Sox logo, except it's the Sox red, and then obviously the cape there behind the logo. I wonder how they got that branding, how they were able to use that branding as well. Maybe they got some ownership there that are related to the Red Sox in some way. But you were saying about your about the experience there for the Cape Cod Baseball League and some of the players with the housing as well. And I'm sure that's going to be the same thing for the Futures League, because I was looking at the Lowell Spinners, and they have some guys that are coming from different parts of the area. There's a lot of local guys, and then there are some guys that are coming in from much further than just the New England area. But yeah, what are your thoughts on the Lowell Spinners coming back, Paul, for the first time in about 7 years now.
Yeah, I like, I have to admit, Joe, I haven't followed the Red Sox for years. I just want to interject. I've actually worked for the Red Sox for about 10 years. I was one of their first Fenway Park tour guides, gave tours of Fenway Park, and met a lot of interesting people and famous people through the years. I was selected to accompany Carlton Fisk and his wife when they put his number up, and took him into the Green Monster. And actually, my kids and my wife, we have our names on the Green Monster inside the Green Monster. But I don't know much about the Spinners, but any kind of baseball. And I know I want to get together with you and Dad. Can we schedule a trip out to see the Blue Sox guys? I want to go out there. I'll even drive if you want to do it.
Don,
Yes.
we'll hand the mic over to you for a minute.
Yes.
Don, go ahead.
No, I mean, you're the sports guy, you're the sports guru, you're the guru guy, you know what I mean? I want to get back to Star Wars. I know you guys still talking, but we're talking off the air, all right? Since I was 10 years old, I've always saw the featured Star Wars movies out of the theaters, and technically there was the 9 movies, there was Rogue One, there was Solo, there was Clone Wars, which was animated, and now we got this, it's 13. And Joey doesn't want to go with me, Paul. Why do you think that is? Am I just a little kid in heart? Because it's open. I'm gonna go by myself if I have to.
I can't believe that. If I could get away, I'd go with you, because I know there'd be a big box of buttered popcorn with the two of us. Joey, I have to scold you. You go to Star Wars with your dad, you're gonna like it.
He will end up liking it. He'll end up liking the movie because that's happened before. Oh, I don't want to go, and it's kicking and screaming and whining. And
there is a movie coming out. There is a Star Wars movie coming out. I believe it's coming out next year. I believe it's about the pilots. It's about the X-wing, I believe. That interests me quite a bit, and I will definitely see that.
You know what it is? It's the little guru kid. He doesn't like
Grogu does not.
He doesn't like children. Joey doesn't like children, like children characters. Okay, you know.
Grogu does not interest me. I'm sorry.
All right. And then the thing is, Joey is all about packaging. He's a packaging kid. And if the package doesn't look good,
I just don't.
He's not even going to try it. I mean, if you don't like bologna sandwiches, and then my brother made me some bologna sandwiches when we left to go to Florida. It was the best bologna sandwiches in the world because my brother made it for me.
You know, when it comes to the Disney Star Wars, there's been a lot of hit and misses. You know, 7, that was a miss. 8, that was a miss. 9 was not.
I want to tell folks.
Yeah, go ahead.
You've got to listen to Middleborough Review on Sunday mornings at 7. I know you're saying, I don't want to get up early on Sunday. No. Here's what you do. You set your clock for 7 a.m. and at 7 a.m. you get the only father and son radio show that I know of. But you get this great banter. But don't let them fool you. They really love each other, and they're always doing cool road trips to different places. They're heading down to Florida this summer. But on this one, I can understand on where Joey's coming from, but Joe, just go for the popcorn, okay?
I'm buying. I'm not making him buy. I'll buy. I'll buy a stupid ticket. I'll buy a stupid popcorn.
I'll think about it.
Gallon of soda pop.
I will think about it. I will think about it. Anyway.
But that's been a tradition for me, and I try to keep traditions going.
I agree.
I've been doing this since I was
that is important.
10 years old. 1977, I was 10 years old. And that's when Star Wars came out.
So the last topic here we'll touch upon is music documentaries. Now, I talked recently, I think this was Monday, I talked about this. I sat down on HBO and watched a documentary. It was Steven Van Zandt, Disciple. And that was a very, very good documentary. It goes over his history, goes over his music history, goes over his acting history as well, which if anyone knows anything about Steven Van Zandt, you know that he worked quite a bit on The Sopranos as well as a major character there on The Sopranos. But that documentary, Disciple, was very, very good. Don, I'll ask you this question here first. What is a music documentary that you sat down and watched? When you were done with it, you came away with saying, like, wow, that documentary was amazing.
We went and saw the Ronnie James Dio one in the theaters about 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Got the name of the movie, but it was all about Ronnie James Dio and his history with Rainbow Black Sabbath. And also they talked about his work with Hearing Aid, which was the hard rock heavy metal equivalent to Live Aid.
Mm-hmm.
And they raised a lot of money for famine in Africa or wherever it was. So that was one of the best ones I've listened, but I sat down, it was pretty good. Steven Van Zandt is, he's definitely different in my opinion. I'm not a big Bruce Springsteen fan. I'm really not. And I think this is my personal opinion, I think a lot of Bruce Springsteen's success was the E Street Band and Steven Van Zandt.
Yes.
What do you think, Paul? What do you think about that?
Well, I was never a fan of Springsteen, although I did see him twice. My wife introduced me to Springsteen. She was a big college fan with Springsteen. He has put on some of the greatest shows, but can I get a little brag in here? Hey, my favorite music documentary is the one that I'm in. I've always played in bands, including I was part of the Cape Cod Happy Hour scene. If you want to watch a documentary and you get to see me, yeah, I know it's not what, but you get to see me. It's called The Kings of Cape Cod. You can Google it, and it's about the happy hour scene on the Cape. I played with a couple of happy hour bands that were pretty popular, so check it out. I was with a band called The Shoes, and we played on the Cape for a number of years, along with great entertainers on the Cape. But I'm not going to try to. Folks, you cannot beat Don and Joe when it comes to music, because they know their stuff. So I know we're coming up on time, and I'm getting a bad static here, but can I just make a plea? Folks, Sunday morning, join me. I'm going to have a cup of coffee. I turn them on, and you hear the Joe and Don banter. It's all in fun. They love each other. And maybe, folks, maybe we can get Joe to go with the movies with his dad to see Star Wars.
Yeah.
All right.
Call in. Anybody wants to go with it? This could be the last time we go to the movies together. You never know, right? And he's gonna miss up on all that, and he's gonna feel terrible.
We'll be here next year talking about the next Star Wars movie and the fact that you and me are gonna go. All right.
Yeah, then I won't go.
Thank you so much, Paul, for calling in.
My pleasure, guys. I'll be listening Sunday morning.
All right,
Yes,
Paul.
thank you
Take
so
care.
much.
Yeah, bye.
Bye-bye, gentlemen.
Yep, bye-bye, Paul. Now it's Paul Lazarovich giving us a call for a couple minutes talking about many different things. The Cape Cod Baseball League, his show, music documentaries as well. Coming up on time here, about 90 seconds or so. I want to mention next week, tune in next week, we'll have Middleborough Gas and Electric. Danny Taylor will be on with us from Middleborough Gas and Electric. We'll be talking about the upcoming hurricane season. Now, NOAA is saying, at least for the Atlantic, they are saying a below average hurricane season. Yes, but something tells me we're still going to have a interesting hurricane season regardless. Especially in the Pacific.
Middleborough Gas and Electric is like one of the best utilities that I know of.
Absolutely. We're going to be talking about some of their upcoming things as well. We'll also get a recap on the winter as well from them as well. What happened during the winter with Middleborough Gas and
We
Electric.
had no blackouts.
No blackouts.
No blackouts.
Zero.
We had all that heavy snow in February, that last big storm,
Which is
and
great.
we did not
Yeah.
lose. Did we lose power at all?
No, we did not.
Even during the
Not at
windstorm
all.
and the
No.
first one?
No, we didn't lose at all.
Not at all. Not at all. We
Which
did not lose.
is awesome.
Where we live, we did not lose power. I know some other parts of that February 23rd storm, a lot of people lost power. Wareham lost power, but we got hit, one of the hardest communities to get hit with that storm, and they kept the power up.
And then coming up the following Friday, June the 5th, we will have Chachi LaPret calling in. He will also, I believe Chachi LaPret's calling in. I did message him. I know at least that John Logan will be calling in as well, and he works closely with Chachi LaPret.
Send him a text message. You can get him into the studio.
And I'm sure I will be briefly mentioning the Steven Van Zandt documentary to him once again, because there was a clip in that documentary where Steven Van Zandt and Paul McCartney performed together. So,
all right, yeah.
I'll mention that to him. But all right,
get your dates straight though, because that's all Chachi is dates and times.
I don't know what I gotta look that up and see when that concert was. But I know they did because it was in the documentary. They performed together. All right, so it is 11 a.m. We will be back next week for another edition of Hometown Talk. Until then, have a great week, everybody. Have a great weekend.
And stay tuned.
Stay tuned for Voices of Our Region with Louie Laura coming up in just a couple minutes. We'll be right back.
When you play that, do you have to play this as a tape thing?
Yes, and I know exactly what cut to play.
We are AM 1530, WVBF, Middleborough, Taunton, and W259DD, Middleborough Center, 99.7 FM, your hometown radio station.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. Amit Thomason, the head of the World Health Organization, says the Ebola outbreak in Congo is spreading rapidly and poses a very high risk within that country. The UN Health Agency has revised its assessment of the risk inside Congo from high to very high. The risk remains high for a regional spread, but low at global levels. President Trump says the U.S. will be sending an additional 5,000 troops to Poland. The move comes as 5,000 American troops are withdrawn from Germany. Secretary of State Rubio is talking about U.S. Cuba policy and what might come next.
Trump administration officials have previously alluded to the possibility of military action against Cuba, but Marco Rubio's latest remarks will take on added weight after the murder charges leveled against Raul Castro. Casting doubt on a diplomatic outcome, Mr. Rubio said the Trump administration was both very serious and very focused on changing the Cuban regime. His comments follow a build-up of U.S. military might in the region, with the USS Nimitz aircraft carrier and 3 escort warships arriving in the Caribbean Sea in recent days.
And that's BBC's Joel Gunter in Washington. Secretary of State Rubio is in Sweden now to address NATO foreign ministers meeting there. President Trump has blasted the alliance for not lending a hand in the Iran war. There's also a good deal of uncertainty about the future U.S. role in the NATO alliance. Democratic National Committee Chair Ken Martin has released a study that's critical of the party's performance in the 2024 campaign. Among other things, the so-called autopsy cites a persistent inability or unwillingness to listen to all voters.